So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. And wanted to come on and do a short little preview of for Brentford versus Aston Villa in the League Cup. Tomorrow we will be on with Team Sheet Tantrum and post-match podcast and everything like that, so never fear. And I wanted to complete the triumvirate with a preview as well, because it's a big game. Obviously, Aston Villa have been pretty tepid in front of goals. That's a bit of an understatement, I suppose, really, because everybody is fully aware at the moment of Aston Villa's inability to score goals currently, and you'll be hoping that a League Cup rematch, should I say, really, I suppose, going back to the G-Tech could help to reignite Aston Villa's fortunes and help them to remember where the bloody onion bag is. And the reason that I say that is that, look, the worm has to turn at some time. We're in historically poor form at the minute, specifically in front of goal. And tomorrow is the best day. We can't do it yesterday. We can only do it tomorrow, and we can only improve tomorrow, should I say? And that's what I'm expecting us to do. But it's going to be interesting because we're coming hot in the heels of a game on Saturday, and we obviously have a game next weekend as well. But we also have a multitude of injuries that have racked up over the last few weeks as well, which makes the selection for this game a small bit more difficult. What does Unai Emery do tomorrow? Does he give the guys? Does he persist with the same team? Does he empty the bench and give and start the likes of Gessan, start the likes of Harvey Elliott, start Sancho, start Malan up top? Does he start Pau Torres? Does he? What does he do? Does he he's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place in midfield anyway, because he probably only has two fit midfielders in there currently at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. And it's something that he's going to have to look at, I suppose, really, what he's going to do with this team. I'm fully expecting Luca Dean to get the night off tomorrow and be on the bench. I'm expecting Ian Matson to be in there, just because obviously Luca Dean took a heavy hit to the head at the weekend. Yes, I know he played on, but I don't think he's fully needed in that left back position tomorrow night, if that makes sense. So I would expect to see him there. Wouldn't be surprised to see Marco Bizak get the starting goals. Wouldn't surprise me at all to see that happen. And when I mentioned there about a forward line of Malan starting up top with Gessan, Harvey Elliott, Sancho there, I could see that, albeit it could potentially be an opportunity to play one of those players, most likely probably a Morgan Rogers, try and play him into form, albeit we are playing against Premier League opposition. Give him more time on the field to try and play him into a small bit of form. But it's not easy tomorrow, the team selection. I think he has to go with obviously almost a first team selection, or in a lot of areas to play first team players. And I don't think anybody needs to be rested this early in the season. But what needs to happen is we need to get a result tomorrow night. There needs to be a goal. Jesus Christ, we need to have a goal scored. And if you haven't seen my seen the offer, the giveaway that I have going on Twitter there, you guys can pop on and see it. Basically, all you have to do is retweet it with a picture of you being subscribed on any audio platform, and you could be in with a chance to win a shirt with the name and number of the first person to score for Villa this year on the back. That's basically what it is. So could come in handy for Christmas, could come in handy for next Christmas at this rate. Who knows? But I say that obviously facetiously, because I think Aston Villa are going to score tomorrow night. I think the worm just has to turn at some stage, and we have to at least start having shots. That's just the nature of football. We are going to score at some stage, and I do believe it is going to be tomorrow night. Conversely as well, Brentford obviously playing themselves into a bit of form. Their win against us, and obviously that draw against Chelsea at the weekend is going to have them bouncing. I would have, they've made some, they've lost some good players from their team, and they've made some what looks to be some very good signings have come in there. It's a bit bittersweet because I see Nathan Collins playing like a really, really good centre half. The really good centre half I know that he is playing for Brentford. Then he puts on the green jersey and it looks like he doesn't even know which foot is his left or his right. That's obviously me joking. I'm still very, very high in Nathan Collins. I think he's a superb defender, and I would love to have him suiting up in claret and blue tomorrow night. But alas, that is not the case. But look, every game is going to be the game it's going to be massive, massive highlight for Aston Villa. Or sorry, there's going to be a massive spotlight on Aston Villa. Tomorrow is a bit annoying though for me because tomorrow we could do with Andreas Garcia, we could do with Ross Barkley, we could do with Amadou and Anna, and they're injured. And look, I don't. It's the unluckiness of them being injured / out for personal reasons that annoys me. I've said it before. I'm never get annoyed at a player for being injured. They don't go out to be injured, and if they're injured, they're injured. There's nothing they can do about it. But this would have been a nice one to have those players available to be able to play in this game, specifically those midfield reinforcements. But that won't be the case. And I think that the bench will have a youthful feel to it as well in a lot of ways. I think that they're just going to have to call up a midfielder from the youth team, from whoever that's going to be, whether it's going to be Jim Oloba, whether it's going to be did they go with Aidan Borland again? On the bench like they had at times last year. It's going to be interesting to see who they call up there, because George Hemmings, we're led to believe, is carrying a slight injury as well at the moment. He obviously would have been the first name up there. I think that he probably would have been named in some squads so far, but that hasn't been the case. So it will be interesting to see what the team sheet is there as well. Going to come to some of your comments as well, but before I do that, as you guys know, we do have a limited sponsorship here for the month of September, I think, and for the first week of October as well, from NordVPN, where we've got an offer going on at the moment. All the information for offer for NordVPN is in the bio here, but I'm going to play this little bit of an advert, and we'll come back and we'll take a look at some of your comments and we'll discuss this game further. Hey everyone, today's show is sponsored by NordVPN, the VPN service that's got your back online. It's the Boubacar Kamara of VPNs. In this digital world, your privacy is under constant attack. Hackers, trackers, and nosy ISPs trying to intercept your data. But with NordVPN, you can encrypt your connection, hide your IP, and browse securely from anywhere. Whether you're streaming your favorite shows, working on public Wi-Fi, or accessing content from abroad, NordVPN's lightning-fast servers ensure no buffering or slowdowns. Plus, for us football fans, it's perfect for catching those Premier League matches that aren't broadcast in your region. So switch servers and you're in. I've been using NordVPN for months, and it's a game changer for peace of mind. Right now, grab their exclusive deal. Head to nordvpn.com/FTLoPM to get a huge discount on their 2-year plans. Over 70% off when you sign up at nordvpn.com/FTLoPM. And with a 30-day money-back guarantee, there's no risk. Villa fans, don't get caught offside online. Secure your win with NordVPN today. I don't want to alarm anybody, but I think my office here is under attack. Massive bang outside the door there. Either there's 2 cats fighting on the roof or something like that, but Jesus, that was scary. Anyway, NordVPN, thank you very much for your limited sponsorship with the podcast. And if anybody's interested in a VPN, wants to help out the podcast, well, then we would be delighted if you could use our information in the bio for this or in the podcast notes for this as well. Yeah, I'm definitely under attack from somewhere. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, if this is my last podcast, please avenge me against Brentford tomorrow, Aston Villa, and make sure that we go and win this game. But let's take a little look at some of your comments here as well. Firstly, Aaron Cunningham comes and says, hopefully bag a few goals to know whether to laugh or to cry. Always laugh. Only cry when crying is only needed when it's needed. But laughter is great, and laughter gets you in a good mood. You can go through this life being happy, or we can go through this life being sad. I'm a big believer in that. And, take a step away from it if you're going to cry. That's what I always say. Paul Sullivan says, Neil, not related to this game, but starting to think that Emery is at the end of the Joe Smith era with Ireland. Overmanages, long video sessions, players stale, all the hallmarks. I don't agree, and the only reason I don't agree is because Joe Smith wouldn't. I don't. I think Joe Smith would have stayed with Ireland, only for the fact that his son was so ill, and he wanted to get back to New Zealand. But I can see where the similarities are. But also, the success that Joe Schmidt brought to Ireland as well was a different factor, and I think that the players still believe that Unai Emery can build that. Like, I don't understand why the players would suddenly at the end of this season, at the start of the season, be fed up with Unai Emery when he's brought them to European football. That, let's call a spade here, that a lot of them probably would never have played. And that's being honest. If they'd stayed with Villa and had other managers, so I don't know. I think it's. I can see the similarities between the two managers, but I don't think that I don't think the analogy holds true. But it's not too far off, I would say, as well. KT3 says the more games, the better. Somehow we need to play ourselves into some sort of form. That's exactly it. Keep the games coming. And I think the players will want that, because you can hear that, like, Panza, Mings, they're all saying, look, the dressing room is together. We're fine. We're willing. We want to make this right, and I think that they will do, and I'm fully expecting us. Like, we have to score at some stage. That's exactly the way that's my mindset at the minute. We have to score at some stage, and I believe we're going to score tomorrow night against Brentford. I really do, because, like, when we played them at the G-Tech last day, we were the better side. That stupid mistake from Pau Torres put us behind the 8 ball. Yes, we couldn't really create stuff, and that's been our main issue. Is we've played okay in the main. We've made stupid mistakes and we can't create stuff. But it's about playing a perfect game tomorrow night, I think, and that's what Villa need to do at the minute. They can't. Every mistake they make is punished, and they're not forcing other teams into mistakes at the moment. And sometimes you go through a run like that, and it's it's up to the players to dig themselves out of that. Really, at this stage, it really is. For me, it's up to the players, because I don't know. And once again, I never play football to any great level or anything like that, but still, maybe this is why. Because at times, if the game wasn't going right, you just try something. You might try and have a crack from 25 yards, see if it hits off somebody and deflects into the back of the net. Our players aren't doing that at the moment. They're sticking rigidly to the plan. And I kind of want one of our players, because and they're sticking rigidly to the plan because it's worked for the last 3 years. It's worked. Our plan has worked. Unai Emery's plan has worked. We're the in nearly every single category with regards to this club for the last 3 years. We've been breaking records all over the place. Yes, we've broken an unwanted record at the start of this season, but there is plenty of time to turn it around. And the players are sticking to it. The players are believing in it, and that's why I'm not too bought into the whole to the previous analogy that the previous comment had there as well. Where else are we? Ad says, I don't think I think he won't care about the League Cup in the long run. The whole competition runs almost as long as Europa League group stage. Our squad won't handle it at all. I hope we bloody scored. Well, I don't. It only matters for tomorrow. It only matters for tomorrow, and having more games to play ourselves into form, I think, is a positive, and I think that's what he will utilize it for. It'll be really interesting, the team sheet tomorrow. It really will. Just to see, like, I don't expect Bradley Burrows will get a start. I don't expect we'll see. I was going to say Tristan Rowe, but he's playing in the second division of France now. But I don't expect to see that level of upheaval within the squad. But I could very much see Gassand, Sancho, Harvey Elliott starting behind Daniel Malin. I could see that happen. I very easily could see that happen, and just kind of and see how that goes. But easily, I think we're going to see Ollie Watkins up top, and the reason I think that is because you want your striker getting chances. He's not even getting chances, like, because we can't get the ball to him. He's been starved of service, so it could go anyway. He could play same 11 from Saturday as well, but it'll be really interesting team sheet tomorrow night, I think, for sure. I really do. And yeah, as Techno says, it's an old-fashioned or as Dave R says here, old-fashioned adage. Don't care how if it comes off someone's bum, just get in the net. Absolutely, and I think that's what, like, a squirty goal tomorrow could completely change the complexion. A goal and goals and a win tomorrow will completely change the complexion of this team going into Sunderland. And I said it in the Claret and Blue podcast as well. That, you get two wins from this week, and the complexion changes. We're on 5 points in the league after 5 games, and you're feeling a small bit better about, okay, we've run the gauntlet in the early parts. We've had some poor performances. Now can we build on this? Going into another international break, get all our injured players, specifically in midfield, back, and then go at it full strength. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Then after that, and also with Harvey Elliott getting more minutes in the tank, Sancho getting more minutes in the tank, and Victor Lindelof getting more minutes in the tank as well. I think that that's how you have to play it in those mini little blocks now. Tomorrow's game, Saturday's game, and then see what happens then after that. But it could be a very, very good week if we get 2 wins, progress in the League Cup, get another 3 points to go with our 2 draws that we have in the league. And 5 points is looking an awful lot more rosy than 2 points in the league after 5 games for sure. Josie asks, do you think Emery has turned negative, Neil, or do you think he's so stubborn in his ways that he's been found out? Surely things turn soon. I don't think either. I think he believes in his process. And as I said before, I would say, why wouldn't you believe in your process, considering that you've all the success that he's had and the success he's had with this team? Does it need to be tweaked? I think he understands that and he knows that. I also think that the players are not the players are. I've just said there as well that they're sticking to the plan too much. But what I mean by is that you can stick to the plan too much, but you mightn't execute it correctly. Like there's a lot of sloppy passes going out there. That isn't coaching. That isn't an Unai Emery thing. There's a lot of not being able to hold possession in the 10 position. That's not an Unai Emery thing. That's a player thing. So I think that I don't think that I don't think he's been stubborn so much as that. It's like he has every right to believe in his process. Every single right to believe in his process because of the success it's brought. Like it's completely different to the conversations people are having about Ruben Amorim at the moment, who's probably believing in his process too much because he hasn't gotten the results from it. He hasn't gotten it with Man United. He certainly hasn't turned around their fortunes. Unai Emery has absolutely turned around the fortunes of Aston Villa Football Club using these processes. And I think I would be more worried that if after, and I know people will say, well, we've been poor since whatever date, since January of last year. We went through times last year where we were bad, and we went down almost a 10-game not the streak of not losing as well last year. And we did increase our clean sheets in the latter half of the year. Our defense was looking better, and so I think the process should be trusted. I think it should be trusted. I just want the players to have a small bit more guile and somebody to start taking the shots. And I think that's why Sancho and Harvey Elliott were brought into the team, because they're more risk averse. I don't think Morgan Rogers is risk averse. I certainly don't think Ollie Watkins is risk averse. And, when you had Leon Bailey, he might take a shot every so often. When you had John Durrani take a shot out of nowhere. When you had Marcus Rashford, he would drive towards the penalty area. He had the confidence to skip inside and take a shot. I think there could be confidence issues there as well. If you're hoping for Evan Gassan to be that person who throws caution to the wind and takes a shot from 25 yards and just opens opens up his hips and tries to bend one in the top corner. There's a lot of players there that historically haven't been that way, or have just joined the club and are maybe trying to learn the system and play within the system first before they start to try to express themselves. So I think it's that perfect storm of, the natural, you had the natural ability of a Marcus Rashford and an Asensio who could come into this team and they go, yeah, listen, we know what we're doing, we've got this creative ability and we can do that, we can do what we need to do here. We haven't brought that type of player in until we got in the likes of Harvey Elliott, and that's arguable whether he is even able to do that week in, week out in the Premier League. So I expect essentially what I'm trying to say here is I expect those players, Gassan, Elliott, Sancho, Morgan Rogers, and to a lesser degree Daniel Mann, and I expect those to get a small bit more creative and a small bit more risk averse as time goes on, because I went through the attacking statistics in Villa AM 2 days ago, and we've had 9 shots on target, and that may seem low, but when I was looking at it, Arsenal have scored more goals. Arsenal have only 8 shots on target or something. They've scored 6 goals. So teams are doing more with the shots that they have. And Villa need to be that bit more, I suppose, streetwise, number one. But also, we just need somebody to try and grab the game by the scruff of the neck and make themselves a hero over the next couple of weeks. And then hopefully that drives everything on. And I would have thought that somebody like Morgan Rogers would have done that, but he just hasn't had that spark this season yet. And maybe tomorrow is the day that he reignites that again. Here I'm just trying to read comments as well at the same time. Trying to catch Cottrell says, can we sue PSR in Premier League? No, we can't. We can't. They're the rules, and we have to play by them. Unfortunately, and we flew too close to the sun. And I think that this year will be very much a recalibration. I do hope so, because I certainly can't do another off season next year of like the one that we did this year. My beard nearly went fully grey in this off season, so I can't be doing another off season like that. Robert Boyle says we're going to go the whole season without scoring. If that happens, I'll buy you a house. Robert, if that happens, I'll buy you and all your generations until every single one of them, and for the next 20,000 years, I will find a way to stay alive that long and buy you all a house each, every one of you, a house each, if that happens. I know you were joking, by the way. I know you were joking. Where are we? Oh yeah, Kevin James says Gesand left, but Buendia middle, Elliot right, behind Malin up top. Job done. I very much so think that you could see that. I completely forgot about Emi Buendia. I'll be honest. I very much so think you could see that tomorrow. I do think you could see that being the starting lineup tomorrow. Like if Evan Gesand, I put him on the thumbnail. If he's not starting tomorrow, I don't know. This is what I'm going to say. It's the perfect game to give him a start in. I know he's had the start already against these guys. I was a Palace. Could have been Palace. He had one start already. He was taken off at halftime. But I think this is where you bring him in. I wouldn't even be averse to bringing him in playing up top and playing Malin off the right, playing Rodgers off the left and playing Buendia through the centre as well. Maybe you put him up top and you surround him with the more experienced players behind him and see what happens from that point of view. But that's why I think it's going to be really, really interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens for the team sheet tomorrow. I think but Gesand, Malin, Buendia, I think could all very well be in, and I kind of expect them all to be in the lineup now. Given that I think the two pivot positions are going to have to be Lamar Bogart and John McGinn, because we don't have any other central midfielders. That's why. So look, I've somehow managed to get 22 minutes out of this on my own. I just wanted to say something as well, because a couple of people have reached out to me and gone, "Is Paddy not on the podcast anymore?" No, Paddy very much is on the podcast. He was at the Everton game. He was at the Hill Dickinson Stadium at the weekend, and I wanted him to go in and enjoy himself. And he actually messaged me for a link to come on for the post-match, but I left my phone inside and I didn't see it. So he was willing to come on the post-match. And he was traveling a bit with work today, and he's traveling again tomorrow. So we might get him on for Team Sheet Tantrum or maybe the post-match tomorrow. But look, he's busy with work, busy stuff going on. It's been a busy time for him recently, so he can take all the time that he needs and try and keep the show on the road as well. And Jay as well. Jay, that was been on the podcast a couple of times, he's been away and he's Jolly Bobs for a while, so we'll be expecting Jay to come back and you'll be seeing him soon as well. So it won't just always be me here, because I know sometimes that it's difficult to do a podcast on your own, number one. But I know sometimes I don't get to as many comments, and I like to try and do that as well, as much as I can. But when I'm doing it on my own, it's difficult to read down through all the comments when they're coming up. But I do thank you so much for your time. I really do. You guys are always very good to come and to watch and to listen and so on. And we will be back again tomorrow with a Team Sheet Tantrum and a post-match podcast. And to be honest with you, what I'll probably even do for the post-match podcast is win, lose, or draw. I said I'd do it for the last game, but I needed to get the post-match podcast done pretty sharpish because of my child-minding situation. But tomorrow evening, what we'll do is we might open up the phone lines for a limited period of time and get your guys' views on the game as well, regardless of whether Paddy is here or not. If Paddy's here, or more the merrier, that'd be great. So might open up the phone lines for that as well. So yeah, we'll see you again tomorrow. The game is on at 8 o'clock tomorrow, so it's clashing with an awful lot of Champions League stuff. But 8 o'clock game tomorrow, Aston Villa versus Brentford in the League Cup. We will probably be doing the Team Sheet Tantrum, so around 7:15, and then post-match podcast then will be close to 10 o'clock tomorrow night. But hopefully you'll join us for that. And in the meantime, everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the